Hello there. This is your lunchtime Anfield Wrap thingamajig that we do for the YouTube. It's lovely to see everybody. I hope everybody's well. How are you?
Fine, mate, fine.
I haven't seen you for ages. What feels like ages?
I know. It's been the longest 4 days of my life now.
How was Villa?
The longest day of my life. It was wonderful. It was really, really good.
It's such a shame they're going down.
I know. They're spoiling it. John was telling me earlier, is it 5 straight wins we've had there?
5 wins on the bounce.
All kinds of wins as well.
It's a great day.
It's a boss day out there. It was the second proper away I've taken my youngest Rafa to. He's 6. You see Norwich away in this one. 11 goals. He's under some illusions, shall we say, as to how things pan out.
Yeah, there's some savage, there's rude awakenings in the post for Rafi here, I think.
Well, people who look for signs and things, his next away is the League Cup final, so 4 or 5 there for somebody.
Oh, dearie me.
On that bombshell.
Go on, what have you got for me?
What we've got today, Jordan Henderson's done an interview which has been, I don't know who you did it for originally.
The Echo. Yeah.
I was the Echo.
Yeah. It's excellent.
Yeah, it is. He talked about the protests, he referred to them and linked it to how the players responded at the final whistle, didn't he?
Yeah, this idea, I think that the footballers were obviously aware of what was going on with the supporters and all this sort of stuff, and that it's, I think Henderson, I mean, you've seen Henderson in the Sunderland end in the League Cup final, for instance, a couple of seasons ago, he just went as a normal supporter, and I think this is something which you've got, which is, I think there's whether or not across football there's an increased awareness from footballers as to the difficulties of support. I think that might be there, but you get the impression it's increasingly becoming the case with Liverpool, with these Liverpool players, that they're unable to dodge, to ignore, to block out a lot of what's going on, and that in a sense is a good thing because it's a greater communion between player and support, and that's something that I think we can broadly speak and be in favour of. Yeah,
I think the modern player is, a certain section is slowly waking up to the idea that they do earn a phenomenal amount of money, they do have responsibilities outside of just picking up I think you go back 30 years, they could go, if someone threw the role model card at them, they go, hang on a sec, we don't earn fortunes, we sweat blood out there, that's what counts. Now I think there's more of a sense of, you know what, we are in a very privileged position.
And said with the club captain, but I've been saying this for a while, you actually look through that Liverpool side now and there's someone like Saka who appears to very much understand his role in the community, and he's had the responsibilities he's had in Paris Saint-Germain since he was a very young man. Yeah, you've got Kolo Touré, you've got you've got Lucas Leiva, you've got Henderson, you've got Milner. These Sturridge as well. We all know Sturridge, was being engaged a lot in the community, and certainly before he had his long injury, because I think that sort of knocked him in terms of feeling as though he can get out there and be a person as well as being a footballer, because he doesn't want to be seen to be messing around in schools if he's not fully fit, I suspect. Yeah, but you've seen all this from these Liverpool players at different times, so I think it's quite. I think it bodes well from the point of view of sort of being able to warm to these players more and more, hopefully, because that's the thing I like to do. I very much like Liverpool players. I think they're becoming aware of it. Even if in 1 or 2 cases it ends up being cynical, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that comes from them rather than being club policy. Do you know what I mean? Like, go and do this gig for us as promotionally or whatever, or for PR purposes. It's good that they take it upon themselves. I mean, it was nice to hear in the Suarez interview he gave for Jamie Carragher this week, where he talked quite openly about the impact that Liverpool supporters had on him, in a way that, he's going, Barcelona, wow, it's great, it's what you always want to do, but there is a little bit missing here, and he acknowledged that we provide that X factor, and it's good to hear that in an era where we beat ourselves up about the contribution to atmosphere we all make, that he still felt there was something very, very magical about being amongst Liverpool supporters in a football ground. Excellent. What else have we got? Well, I mean, this is just rounding up news. Balotelli, there's all kinds of bad smoke signals coming out of Milan that he's not exactly redeeming himself. It's a shame because people can see how talented he is, but and likeable actually, as well. Yeah, but there's massive issues with what he's doing on football fields, just as it was last season in terms of the all-round sort of the effort that you need to play football. Now, I think Balotelli, to me, he could almost have been, and could still be, sort of almost like Cantona in some way, where he could come from nowhere and have a remarkable season and find his feet somewhere and at a football club, and it wasn't to be for us. It looks like it's not to be for Milan. But there is the idea that these days, you look at the mercurial geniuses of football, they're all putting a stint in. Ronaldo's the fittest man ever. Yeah. Messi grafts and wins the ball back and wants to win it back and get on it all the time. Even Zlatan, for all the Zlatan sort of myth, when you actually watch him play, he wins his battles with centre halves. Yeah. He wants to physically dominate central defenders. to be the footballer that Balotelli seemingly wants to be. It feels to me like it's a real bygone era thing. It's a Frank Worthington. It's an 80s
I think he's rewriting
footballer.
Yeah, I actually think he's rewriting the book. I've never known anyone who will just with his body language go, I am not contributing today. You thought when you first saw it, are my eyes deceiving me here? I don't want to believe this of the lad, but it is. I do have a fear that he lands back at Liverpool in the summer and we have an awkward period for team morale where Klopp feels he has to put him on the training pitch. Does he end up what Brendan Rodgers did, put him playing with the kids and with Enrique again in that field they leave for Jose Enrique somewhere? So I just hope that Balotelli's agent is getting in that gig in China, which he really does need now, and it can be work out for everyone concerned. From Mario's ridiculous to Kolo's sublime, then he's segued. Scored his first ever goal for Liverpool, and he talked really fondly how important that was for him, that he didn't want to have left Liverpool without having put his marker down in that respect.
Yeah, there's an excellent piece that Neil Jones wrote in the Echo yesterday, which we'll try and get tweeted out at some point today, which was just interesting in terms of the idea of Kolo either remaining at Liverpool in a coaching capacity. Come in, Robbo, don't worry about it. Remaining in Liverpool in a coaching capacity, or finding his way as maybe as an ambassador or something for the club. And I think it's quite an interesting thing. The idea of, we've talked a lot about wanting sort of, it tends to be Liverpool lads, them as ambassadors, but there's actually, you can make almost a more coherent argument in a couple of senses for Kolo in terms of the fact that he's got this sort of world football profile. He's travelled around, originally African, so on and so forth. There's a lot, not originally African, actually African. He didn't pack in. There's a lot which you can say about him there, and there's a lot of good he can do, I think, for the club. What he does when he comes in 2013 is remarkably infectious, I think, and I think it was interesting that in the first interview he gave in 13-14 in that July, he walked in, he went, we can win the league. We can just win the league, and we very nearly did. And I do think that his attitude had a lot to do with that. I think there's little getting away from it, to be honest with you. Liverpool suddenly had this fella who had won leagues walking in and saying, well, these lads can do it.
Well, even his comments after Villa, he talks about that. This can be the beginning for us. We are a big team. He never wants to start from a premise other than we are a big team. Yeah. We can achieve stuff.
And he's a winner. He's literally gone a season unbeaten. He played centre half in a team that went a season unbeaten. He's a serious footballer, Kolo, and whilst he at times it's great to have a laugh around him because he seems such an upbeat person, it's important to remember that he's a proper footballer in the way in which there's not many of them around.
We probably lose him as a centre half by next season. Maybe that's the end of the road for him on that. We don't know. But Liverpool, it's been the news all week that we've agreed to sign Joel Matip.
Yep.
For what it's worth, Built this morning is saying he's going to be on 103 grand a week, which I'm sure will cause some eyebrows to be raised. We were chatting about it in the office. I think people do need to bear in mind free transfers and include implied signing on fees, so before we jump at wondering what we're getting for 103 grand a week, I think that should be factored in.
But we've also boxed it off, and this is the other thing as well, but just to sort of sum this up, and we're going to be talking more about this, you're going to be talking about the way the summer transfers should be going on your Unwrapped show tomorrow.
The gutter unwrapped.
It's going to be the gutter
unwrapped. This is what I've decided, I'm going with this,
but what I sort of think on this is that it's working worry. You haven't got to spend the time now. Liverpool have sorted centre half for next season. I think I won't be looking at another one. This is my view, but it means that you haven't got to worry about it. You haven't got to go and buy one or spend your time on that. You can put your resources.
There's no one taller out there, is there?
And there's no one taller.
So put Corker on his shoulders. That's our strategy.
Walk around him.
Yeah, walk around them, yeah.
Walk around them. Have a lovely day for the rest of the day. You'll have the audio roundup later on if you're a subscriber. Coming out today is the Tuesday review and ban this filth. Breaking news, says Gareth. He's just handed a piece of paper. Breaking news. Robbo's still in the kitchen and now he has no heating. That is everything that you need to know in your Liverpool day.
Pray for Robbo.
Actually,